Hey, welcome back. All right, so today I'm going to be duping my polish pickup wish list for October. The theme for this month is 90s grunge, and I have 2 on my wish list, and then I have a third, kind of like a extra. I had a subscriber ask me if I could try to dupe this one polish, so I did my best to dupe that one. Okay, so the first on my wish list is Paint It Pretty polish, despite all my rage. So when I look at this, first of all, there's 2 like distinct looks for this polish. It's definitely a chameleon polish. One picture when you look at it, or several of the pictures when you look at it, it's a very golden yellow flaky balm with little black flakies. And then most of the other pictures when you look at it is kind of like a brownish flaky balm, and then it's got tons of beautiful kind of like rosy magenta flakes, and then it's got little black flakes. So when you read the description, inspired by Smashing Pumpkins, despite all my rage is a clear-based flaky balm with iridescent flakies, UCC flakes, black flakes, and a small sprinkling of holographic flakes. So it doesn't even really tell you what color the flakies are supposed to be. It does say that it's in a clear base. However, I will say that all the pictures here show it built up opaque. The only place I saw being used as like a clear base as a topper was Caitlin Swatches. I watched her video and she did show it in one coat that you could use as a topper, and then she showed it built up. So for my attempt at a dupe, I did decide just to do it as a topper. I didn't bother trying to build it up opaque because I would want to use it as a topper anyways. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled Pretty Beautiful Unlimited I Smell Children, which when you look at it, it's got that kind of like brownie flaky base, and then it's got those beautiful rich kind of rosy magenta flakes, and then you can see they kind of shift kind of like an orangey red also. And then at angles you can see it's got the kind of greeny golden yellow flakes as well, and then it's got reflective glitter. And then for the black flakies, of course, I used Rogue Lacquer's Batsy. Seems like black flakies are very, very popular right now, and everyone is using black flakies. Okay, so this is what my dupe looks like. Now, I will say this is pretty good just for looking at the brown with the rosy magenta shifts. So when you look at this, you can see it's kind of got that brownie look to it. It's got those beautiful, rich, rosy magenta flakes. It's got the little black flakes. However, at no angle do you see that strong golden magenta shift. It just does not have that strong shift. So I would say this is probably like a 50-50 dupe. I'm pretty happy with this. Looking at it and then looking at these pictures, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of very torn. This looks so pretty. However, when I look at my swatch reel, I feel like it is a pretty good dupe as a topper. All the pictures I'm looking at though are showing it built up, and I really don't think that using these would really practically build up without being thick and gloopy. So that leads me to believe that this polish is much more of a flaky balm, like really built up, than these. I mean, maybe I could do another coat of these, but again, that's like 4 coats. And then when you have whatever, your base coat and then your topper, I don't know. So I'm torn. I do really like this as a topper. Oh, and I meant to say before, is that to be completely honest, the golden pictures, like those severe gold angles that you see, I don't really love that. The only one that I really, really am drawn to are the other shifts when it's the brown with, the magenta. So that's why I'm pretty happy with this being a 50-50 dupe, because the 50-50 that it dupes is a half that I like anyways. So I'm on the fence. I don't think I'm going to buy this. I have to just keep telling myself that I'm happy with this as a topper. I don't necessarily know that I would end up wearing this fully opaque anyways. I would probably lean towards wanting to use it as a topper. So I'm going to tell myself for now that I'm not going to buy it and that I'm pretty happy with this 50-50 dupe. Okay, so for the next one, we have Night Owl Lacquer Harsh Realm. This one, when I look at it, is so beautiful. It's got kind of like a grungy olive base, and then it has beautiful like orangey, yellowy green shifting flakes, and then it's got little black flakes, of course, and then it has a bunch of reflective glitter. So when I read this, it says, inspired by an article that I read about the grunge slang words that were made up as a joke by a receptionist of an alternative record label in Seattle. This is a clear base filled with green reflective glitter pigment, red, orange, gold, green, crystal chameleon flakes, and black flakes. If you loved Halloween Always, this is its green sibling. So Halloween Always was a polish from last year. I didn't get it, and then I really regretted it. And then it came back this year for July Rewind, and I snatched it up. So this one, and it's gorgeous, I love it. So this one says that it is in, where does it say? It says that it's in a clear base, but it's very dense, and so it very easily builds up into 2 coats. It doesn't really make a very good like sparse topper. It's not going to be a sparse topper. If you wanted to wear it in 1 coat, you definitely need undies as far as Halloween Always. And it's saying it's sibling, so I'm assuming it's going to have that same exact type of formula. Okay, so for my dupe, I did 2 different attempts. The first one for these kind of gorgeous orangey, green, orangey yellow shifting flakes, I used KB Shimmer's Soul Amazing, and this is so amazing. I love this topper. I use this a lot in my dupe videos. It's just that beautiful orangey golden flaky bomb, and then it's got those green shifts. And then for the black flakies, I used Rogue's Batsy. And then to kind of get the reflective property and to kind of add in a little bit of olive green to it, I used Never Naked by Jackie all of the time. And so this is what my first dupe looks like. And this is very clearly not opaque. It's very much a topper. It also does not have a lot of olive to it. So I would say my first attempt was not very good. I feel like these 3 components are very good, but it's missing that opaque olive base to it. So then I attempted again. I used the same 3, but I used Orly's Olive You Kelly as undies, or as the base. And that's what you get. So I feel like this one is much better. However, I feel like the tone to it is just not right. It pulls more, I don't really know how to describe it. It pulls more like a darker, grungy olive, whereas these swatch pictures are looking almost more like a soft, sagey olive, if that's a thing. Plus, the Night Owl Lacquer is just clearly a built-in flaky bomb, whereas this one, you can tell that it's sitting on top and that it's more of toppers on top of undies. I do think this is a pretty good dupe. If you're not completely obsessed and, crazy like I am, this might be good enough for you. However, for me, I just keep looking at this Night Owl, and I know that I had so much regret about not getting Halloween Always that I definitely feel like I'm going to get this one. So I'm going to be getting the Night Owl. I'm not going to be getting the pretty painted, what was it called? painted pretty. All right, so the third one is just a bonus one. However, I will say this is absolutely beautiful, and I know this is on a lot of people's wish list. So this one is by Vanessa Molina, and is called Fishnet Stockings. And when I look at this, It's so beautiful, first of all. It's in kind of like a bright magenta-ish base, what it looks like. And then it's got these gorgeous kind of like greeny blue shifting flakes. And then it's kind of hard to see. You have to zoom in almost, but there are like little blue speckles. So I don't know if they kind of look like they could be reflective glitters, but they could also just be like small, tiny blue glitters. And then when I look at this one picture where it's showing the bottle shot, it almost looks like it's kind of like in kind of like a shifty base. Okay, so when I read the description, it says, inspired by the fashion that marked many grunge fans, either in music or in the way of dressing. Fishnet stockings is more than necessary to compose your grunge look. Chameleon multi-chrome base, okay, so it is in a multi-chrome base, iridescent flakes, and blue galaxy glitter. Okay, so then when you read down at the bottom, it says multi-chrome, red, black, iridescent flakes, green, blue, purple, and glitter galaxy sapphire. Okay, so little sapphire glitters. So actually, I think looking at these look very similar to sapphire glitters that I own. Okay, so my attempt at a dupe, because it did look like, to me, it was in kind of an opaque base. It doesn't really look like a shifting topper. It looks more like it's opaque. I did 3 attempts. My first attempt, I wanted to try to get the kind of shifty, kind of like shifty magenta-ish base. And I went with KB Shimmer's Hidden Potential, which has kind of that shifty base. It's very shifty though. And then the description on this does say that it is in a chameleon multi-chrome base. So it is meant to kind of shift. So I thought this one would be a good starting point. And then for the beautiful bluey green flakies, I used Fancy Gloss Crystal Opal. I almost was gonna use Ranger. However, Ranger is more green shifting pink, whereas Crystal Opal is more of that bluey purple shifting green. So I thought this one would be a better topper. And then to kind of get the blue glitters, I used Never Naked by Jackie Sapphire, which is a blue reflective topper. So my first attempt was using these 3. And this is the first attempt. Honestly, I'm not very happy with this. Number one, the base just isn't right. It's too light, it's not dark enough. I am very happy with the flakies. And then the little blue reflective glitters, honestly, you don't even see them. And it just ends up adding like a thickness. Really what I need to do, what I really need is just little blue glitters and not a sparse reflective glitter topper. Well, the blue glitters would have been a topper, but what I mean is like actual blue glitters and not thin reflective glitters. Okay, so not very happy with this one. So my second dupe, I went ahead and pulled out Zoya's Aurora, which looks a bit darker. It's not kind of that shifting multi-chrome base, but it is a darker base, gives me that kind of magenta look to it. And then I went ahead and again used the Crystal Opal, and I used the reflective glitter. And that's what this one looks like. Honestly, these are so similar. I would say this one is maybe just like a tiny, 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 tiny drop darker, but overall they look the same. So this was not a good dupe. So then I was looking for something kind of in the same tonal family. The tones on this are pretty good, they're just not dark enough. So I was combing through and I decided to try Zoya's Peyton, which they're similar. They're kind of in the same family, but it's much darker. So I used Zoya's Peyton, and then I used the Fancy Gloss Crystal Opal. I decided not to even bother with reflective glitters because they really just don't show up anyways, and it just ends up adding thickness. So this is my third attempt. And this one I feel like is much better. I'm actually pretty happy with this. I would actually wear this. I think I will probably try to get to this if I can this fall. It's got the bluey green shift, the beautiful flakies. The base, I feel like, is pretty good. It's not multi-chrome shifting, but honestly, in most of these pictures, actually in all the pictures, really all you see is kind of that dark magenta base. And then you just see the beautiful flakies and then the little blue sapphire glitters. So I am very happy with this dupe. I will not be buying this one. That means I'm only going to be getting one polish this month. I'm going to be getting the Knoll, the Night Owl Lacquer. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me know down below what you guys are getting this month. Are you happy with this theme? I gotta be honest, I wasn't overly wowed this month. I only had 2 on my wish list. I don't know if it's just because I have so much polish nowadays that it takes a lot to really entice me, but I feel like lately I'm just not as excited or not as wowed by as many of the polishes in PPU. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.